Hi, my name is Daisy Michelle Lopez, and I'm an 18-year-old Hispanic female who was born and raised here in Wichita Falls, Texas, in a Catholic household. I have a mother named Diana and a father named Leonardo. My mom was born here in Wichita Falls, and my dad was born and raised in Mexico. I have two sisters and two brothers. To be Hispanic as well as Catholic here in Wichita Falls, Texas has had its challenges because Wichita Falls is predominantly full of Caucasians and is more closed-minded than other places in the United States. But despite the differences and that I have with people here in Wichita Falls, and despite the discrimination I have faced, I have not let that stop me for being who I am or pursuing who I want to be in the future. My social class is working class. The reason for that is because my mom dropped out of high school in the 9th grade due to teenage pregnancy, and my father was, as I said before, born and raised in Mexico. And over there, especially in the little city, in the little town he was born in, did not give much opportunity for a good education. So he decided to come over here at the age of 17, and he's been working ever since. Due to being in the working class, I have seen the value of working for what you want and obtaining it. I have seen ever since I was younger that we did struggle financially in my younger years of life, but due to the fact that my mom is a hard worker as well as my dad, they managed to get through that and give me and my siblings a pretty good life, economic stability, and that is all that I hope to achieve when I'm older, to get my own place and not to struggle economically. Right now, I am a full-time college student. I work full-time at the McDonald's on Greenbrier, and I'm a part-time correctional officer at the Allred unit in Iowa Park. The reason as to why I have all of these things, why I'm doing all these things, is because I like being productive with my time. I have seen, because of my father and because of my mother, that if you work hard, you can achieve what you want to. And that is why I do not just stay at home and be lazy all day. That is why I work as much as I can, and I attempt to reach the potential that I know that I'm capable of. My race is Hispanic. I am a Hispanic, and especially here, as I've said before, in Wichita Falls, it is difficult to have any type of color on your skin because, as I've said, Wichita Falls is very closed-minded, and people who are of color do face discrimination and are looked at differently than Caucasians. They are looked down upon, or they are just seen as less capable than Caucasians and white people. And even though I am seen as that, I do not let that affect me on my day-to-day life. I manage to get through it. I attempt to ignore basically that it's there, even though I have to admit it is there. The discrimination is there based on my skin color. But I don't ponder on that. I don't think about it all the time or every day or anything. My ethnicity, I am a Latino. Being a Latino is having the old set values that my grandma was raised in. She raised my father, and her, with my father, also raised me. And being Latino means that you have good family values, you stick with your family no matter what, you work hard, you just appreciate the things that you have. I was raised that being Latino means just living the best you can, despite the difficulties that you are put through. You have to go through it. You have to manage it, and you can't let that stop you. That's what I was taught by my father as well as my grandma, that being Latino is not a, how do I put it? It is not something that is a disadvantage. As a matter of fact, we see it as an advantage because we know the value of life. We know the value of working hard and being with our family. I am a female, and being female, especially in a Latino family, we are expected to cook and clean and stay at home. I guess not as much now as how it used to be, but that was our set role as a woman in a household, was to leave school at a young age and just stay at home, clean, cook, get married young, and just take care of the husband and the kids, start a family. That is not something that I have followed through with. That is not something that I plan on being. I don't plan on leaving college. I don't plan on getting married at a young age. I don't plan on having kids at a young age. Even though that is something that my family has done throughout the generations, that's not something that I'm going to continue. And also, being a female in general, people expect you to have long hair. People expect you to dress girly. People expect you to be into makeup. People expect you to do your nails, things like that. Things a female would be into, things that females would do. But I am not like that at all. I do not wear makeup. I don't dress up much. And I have short hair, and people constantly ask me, why did I cut my hair short? It used to be shorter than this. And people still ask me, why is my hair short? Why do I cut it short? And that's because they expect females to have long hair. You don't ever see somebody ask a male, hey, why is your hair short? No, because they're expected to have short hair, So that I do not follow the typical role that a female is expected to follow. I, as well, I identify as bisexual, even though I have never done anything with a female. And being bisexual, I have experienced some backlash, especially a few years ago. I don't believe that right now much backlash is people of different sexual orientations. I don't feel, and I don't believe that people right now are experiencing as much backlash based on their sexual orientation as they were back then. Because right now I haven't around this age I haven't experienced any at all. But when I was younger, around my middle school years, I do remember certain instances where I would get either made fun of or bullied or things of the sort because I was attracted to females as well. But that didn't stop me from liking who I wanted to like or any of the sort. I still continued to be me despite what other people believed was wrong or right. The language that I speak are two, English and Spanish, so I am bilingual. That, even though is not considered as a dominant trait, it is still, I feel like it is a very big advantage because here in the United States, the two predominant languages spoken are English and Spanish. And because I can speak both, it is easier for me to communicate to other people here in the United States. Because also I'm Hispanic, I was expected to translate for teachers when they couldn't understand someone who didn't speak English or things of the sort. My father didn't grow up speaking English because, as I said before, he was born and raised in Mexico. And whenever we would go to McDonald's or a restaurant or a store, I would have to translate for him. I would have to tell him what the cashier was saying, or what the people who worked at the restaurant were saying, so we could have a smooth dinner. And that put pressure on me from when I was a young age, because it was just so nerve-wracking, trying to help my father understand what they were saying, and then they also trying to understand what my father was saying, and they would get frustrated, and then I would get upset because they were being they and it was because it was Caucasian people mostly, and they didn't understand, they don't comprehend the struggles that my dad faced and many other people who do not speak English face on the daily, because they don't know the language. They get frustrated and they're like, oh, well, like, if you don't speak English, then you shouldn't be here, or things of the sort, which is just a ridiculous statement, by the way. But yeah, I see it as an advantage, even though it is not something that is dominant here in the United States. It has helped me throughout my life to be able to speak both languages. My religion is Catholic. Being raised as a Catholic, we were taught to pray in the morning, pray in the middle of the day, pray at night, pray whenever you can. Even in my car right now, I have the Virgin Mary on like on the little thing on my car, and I pray to her before I start driving, to make sure that she takes care of me while I drive. And being raised Catholic, we were raised to be conservative in a way. We were raised to not be in a relationship unless it's serious, or just things like that. When you get married, that's the only way that you can have sexual relations with somebody until you're married. And when you get married, it has to be through church, because if it's not through church, then it's not real marriage. And that is how it is being raised Catholic. You appreciate your life. You appreciate that you have food to eat, a bed to sleep in, a roof over your head, and you thank God for that every single day. The exceptionability that I have is I am not disabled. This is a dominant trait. It has brought a lot of advantages to me in my life, because if I were disabled, depending on my disability, I would have to learn new things. If I was deaf, I would have to learn sign language. If I was in a wheelchair, I would have to learn how to use a wheelchair, and I wouldn't be able to go into places that didn't have the wheelchair accessibility ramp. I am blessed to have not been born with a disability, or have not encountered one personally. That has made my life a lot simpler than those who do have a disability. At the age that I am at right now, I am 18. I am a young adult. I feel like this is also in the dominant subgroup, because I am able to see both sides of the younger generation as well as the older generation. I am able to see where the older generation, what they think, and I can understand them to some extent, as well as the younger generation, as what they do, how they feel to some extent. I'm in the middle, and I'm able to, do so much with my life right now. Since I'm 18, I'm able to move out, I'm able to get a job, and people, I feel as if though the point that I am in my life right now, it's much easier than it would be if I was younger, because if I was younger, I wouldn't be able to get a job. I wouldn't be able to do things that I can at this age, to drive, go out with friends without a parent telling you something. And if I was older, by that point, I would probably have kids. Then still again, you wouldn't be able to go out much, and still again, you would have somebody to take care of. And at the age that I am right now, and it's a big advantage to take life head on, and this is the perfect age to be at. The geography in which I was, where I was born was here in Wichita Falls, Texas, as well as I was raised here. It is in the northern part of Texas. It usually has a warm weather most of the time, except the recent weather that we just had. Nobody was expecting it. It was cold, it was a blizzard, it was snow, it was just completely horrible, and that's not something that we are used to. Not at all. See, over there in the northern states, they're used to this weather a lot more, because I remember when I went to go visit my aunt, like in Chicago, it was just feet and feet of snow. And that's not something that I was used to, but you can see cars driving around all day, every day over there, and it doesn't affect them. But snow like that would destroy Wichita Falls, Texas, Texas in general, because we aren't used to that. In conclusion, this is my conclusion. My name is Daisy Michelle Lopez, and I am an 18-year-old Hispanic female who was born and raised here in Wichita Falls, Texas, in a Catholic family. And despite the difficulties I have faced because of my gender, because of my race, because of my ethnicity, that hasn't stopped me from being who I truly am and reaching for who I want to be. No matter the struggles that I keep going through because of this physical appearance that I have, it's not going to stop me. And I understand that everybody is born different and everybody looks different. Everybody is born in a different environment, and that makes them into who they are and who they want to become. But that doesn't limit them to what they can achieve based on their physical appearance. I have learned that through me and through many others who have achieved great things despite people discriminating them based on their gender, based on their race, based on their ethnicity, based on their religion. While that does make us who we are, it does not define what we're capable of.